It is time for our French derby, or maybe not so much of a French derby anymore because BDS have been changing some players out left, right, and center. But starting to talk about BDS, of course, today, a roster that is really impressive as well. We'll pull up the players on your screen if you weren't already familiar with them to start out with. These players have been absolutely doing a phenomenal job. And if we're looking at the ratings here as well, something that's really funny that stood out to me, Shaiko is actually the lowest rated player on this team.
Wow. Can you guys imagine that? Like,
Yeah.
Shaiko, the lowest rated player? That makes absolutely no sense, but at the same time, it makes so much sense. And it's not because Shaiko is any worse than he was. Shaiko's been one of the best players in the world for a very long time. But now he's surrounded by, well, 4 other players that are also some of the best players in the world. I mean, if I could pick a top 10 of all players right now, probably all 5 of them would fit in there.
This is such a complete team. And are the other 5 players playing for Furia by any chance?
Yeah, that's probably it.
They are such a complete team. And I think they know that. And I think what it is in Siege at the minute, there's a lot of players and teams that want to be as flexible as possible. These guys aren't necessarily that, right? If you look at Brede, he's never going to go and frag out all of the time. If you look at Shaiko, he's never going to be a support player. They've got the right people in the right roles in the team that makes sense compositionally as well, and they're just running through it.
But they do have that flexibility in their
They
team
do have
too.
flexibility as well.
Yeah.
But in their own roles, they're specialists and they excel.
Yeah, they're like the #1 in Europe on all their own individual roles, but then they have the flexibility to play.
They would be top
anything.
5 in Europe on any other role as well, which helps.
Something that we have been doing a lot over the last few weeks is making up new words. And with how BDS have been performing, we felt like it was needed to add a new word to our dictionary of the Europe League. And that word is getting BDS. Now, Fresh, you'd please like to explain what that means.
Yeah, this is Fabian's word, but I'm just going to say it. So it's to destroy an obstacle in your path with the utmost ease, irrespective of the surroundings or approach that the opponent might take. Basically, whenever BDS win, we say the team or the opponent that they're against just got completely BDS, Fabian.
Yeah, you don't want to be taking a BDSing, that's for sure, because you just don't stand a chance against them. And I love watching teams like this because not only are they so mechanically sound and like they actually have the basics down on top of that, but they also have the theoretical depth. They are super smart. They have players who are all working to it. Like we've spoken to Likeyfact, and in the interviews, he's told us how much Uses and Solotov have brought with them from the old M&M team and the way that they played some of the maps. Like look at Chalet, how BDS played that map. It's all from M&M.
Chalet and Border as well. They've played Chalet and Border.
Yeah, all maps that they liked in M&M, and now all of a sudden it's BDS map pool, and I'm seeing like 9 map pool from a team with best gunners and incredible minds. There's just no end to it.
It's nice to see that influence, but of course we have to talk about their opponents as well, because from Wolves, over the recent history, we've seen some positive things. We've seen them, of course, improve on their attacks. It's looking a little bit better.
It's looking a little better, but that Achilles heel that we talk about, there's 2 players that really excel and the other 3 that don't statistically. Looks like it's biting them as well. You know, obviously they've struggled with their attacks. They improved them yesterday. They looked good. They've, you know, accumulated enough points to still be in the race for the top 4. But I think but for Mowgli and Deadshot, Wolves might well be struggling because their individuality has brought them through in some rounds and some games as well. I think yesterday when their attacks improved, the result was that the attacks were improved. It was 3-3 on the attacks, but who was pivotal to that? Particularly Mowgli, but also Deadshot as well.
And the thing is, I'm even questioning if they actually have improved their attacks. The only thing I really saw from them was that they weren't making mistakes, which in turn, because they didn't make those mistakes, allowed both Mowgli and Deadshot to perform individually mechanically, and that's the reason they won the rounds.
Now, to say that this matchup has happened a few times would be under appreciating of how much it has actually happened, but if we look at the history between these 2 teams, it has gone in favor of BDS a lot of the times.
Yeah, Wolves fans look away right now because if we go all the way back to the Charlotte Major 2022, that was when Mowgli was a rookie, by the way, when he joined them for that stage. They've never beaten BDS. Never. Best of 1s, best of 3, different competitions inside Tier 1 play. They've never beaten them.
They've been getting BDS'd.
They've been getting BDS.
They've been getting BDS.
Before that was a thing.
And with the new team, I think they're going to be BDS'd even harder.
Oh, dear.
That is difficult, but it plays in the back of the mind of these players as well, right? And even further before we got to this point, because we have an interview, we have a clip that we did of an interview with Bibu, where he even mentioned this prior to this matchup, like, oh, it is something that continuously plays in the back of our mind. So if we could have a look at that clip to see what Bibu had to say about that matchup, that'd be amazing.
Sometimes we have some rivalry with certain teams like BDS. Now they change some players, but maybe maybe it will break the curse for us. But you know, we just want to play everyone. Everyone is very good, so we'll do our best to win as much game as we can.
Always being so polite, always being so friendly, wanting to play every team, but this one's got to play in the back of their mind.
Yeah, I mean, Beeb was one of the best interviews we have. And not only that, but you were talking about, oh, it might play onto Wolf's mind. It will also play onto BDS's mind. Because if BDS starts to lose rounds, and maybe lose 1 or 2 or 3 in a row, it's like, oh, we're not supposed to lose to these guys. What are we doing? I don't think they will.
I was about to say, BDS losing 3 rounds in a row.
But you see the point, right?
Yeah.
If they do, it's one of those things that can creep up into your mind. It's like, we shouldn't be losing to them. Why are we? And then you get frustrated. And that would maybe lead you to lose the game. But then again, that's just speculations on a level where we need to find a reason for it.
And it's
right?
one thing that we have to speculate about all the time. And it affects so much that you can never see in an external form. But the mentals of players and teams affect so much how they play.
Yeah.
The fact that this will be in all of these players' minds, maybe apart from the new guys, will be a key factor in this game.
Now I'm thinking there's only one map that has a hint to the French, right? It's Concept with the French flag, I think, on the main door.
Sure.
Yeah, it's in
Chalet is in France now as well.
Is it?
Is Chalet? Surely. Chalet is a French word. No?
It would
Am I
be,
just making that up?
It would be the perfect battleground, I guess, then for these two teams. But let's see where it actually is heading to. What map will be selected for this matchup? It is Skyscraper. How are we feeling about that one?
So both teams love this map. It's first and foremost, it's Wolves' #1 map preference. So if you're a Wolves fan, this is a map that they love to go to. The bad news for Wolves fan is it's also a map that BDS love to go to as well. So for both teams, it's a battleground they've actually never gone on in Tier 1 before, but both of them, by preference, love it.
Yeah, and if you look at the playstyle of the map, I don't know if you guys remember Alphama showing the 2 or 3 splits up of the map in SI. That really fits into BDS's playstyle. So for their fragging ability to step onto this map, I genuinely don't think it matters for BDS starting an attack, because I think that they just have it to just run it over.
Do you know what's crazy? 2 of the best Skyscraper teams over the last 12, 18 months, BDS and M&M. This current BDS has got the best of both worlds in one team. So I'm expecting them to get even better on this map.
All right, we have our game almost ready. It's time to bring back our casters for this game as well. We welcome back Ace and Dez. Guys, how are you feeling about this game? Any predictions maybe as well?
BDS rollover. They'll absolutely stomp Wolves, I think.
I think BDS are just terrifying at the minute. It doesn't matter who you are. 7-3, 7-2, 7-1. Fresh pointed it out on Twitter earlier. Surely the trend is 7-0. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Wolves. But a great map for it.
Did you get enlightened into our new word that we have added to our dictionary, the BDS? Do you think that's going to happen today?
There could be a BDS in on the cards, I think.
We'll see whether there is a BDSing on the cards. We have a Skyscraper up ahead with Wolves and BDS.
Thank you very much, Anne. And one of my favourite maps, Tim. Ecstatic to see, I'll say it, the best team in the world going to Skyscraper. One of their go-to maps. Is going to be an absolute delight to see them, dare I say, feasting on the carcass of Wolves here. At least that's the assumption. You can never really count Wolves out as the problem. You know, we've seen them put on some really good performances of their own. Yes, things kind of go up and down sometimes for them, but in a classic French versus French showdown, it's never quite guaranteed what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Wolves yesterday against Fnatic, and they did look improved. They'd obviously, you know, BB said in the interview afterwards that they'd worked on Consulate, they'd recognised the areas of weakness and they'd dealt with them. You know, so there's obviously a lot of work going on in the background, which we expect from all of these teams. But yeah, it might not be as straightforward as previous results suggest. But I think I'm really, as soon as I saw Skyscraper picked, I thought, yes, we haven't got a map that one of them kind of doesn't play, or, you know, nobody's won this in the map ban phase. They're both coming out onto a map that they are great on and that they enjoy. So for me, it's perfect. Right, no excuses now. Go and play your best game and let's just have an absolute brawl between these two. That's what I'm hoping for. Whether BDS allow that or not is going to be another matter, I think.
And of all the teams that have played 3 games so far here in the EU League, it's taken BDS the fewest rounds to do it. And that in itself doesn't sound too crazy. But what does sound crazy is when you add the additional detail that they have started on attack in every single game they have played, this one included. Their attacking win rate right now is up at over 70%. They are rocking their way through 13 of 18 attacking rounds won. They've only played 9 defensive rounds, Tim, and they've won 8 of them. This is the true definition of domination when a team can attack like this. If you think back to G2 when they were playing at SI, Doki was saying, all these teams that are moaning about attacking and saying, it's been decided game right now, is like the teams that are able to attack well, and it was 3 or 4 teams that had above 50% as an attacking win rate. It's like these are the ones who have just managed to figure the meta out better than all others. And at least so far, going by the numbers, G2 have done more than just figure it out. They've really made it their own. So even with Wolves maybe feeling a little comfortable, they get to start on defense here. I'd be slightly terrified because BDS are like a steam train and they are coming at pace.
I mean, it's difficult not to come in and kind of, wax lyrical about BDS at the, they were just, I watched all the games last night, of course, and BDS against RTB, they were just another class. They were just another level above even the performances they put in themselves.
What really says so far? When RTB's coach, Cameron Kenny, came out and said, we did get absolutely stomped, but I'm actually happy. He's like, we fixed all the issues we had in our previous games. We've seen the improvement. BDS are just a world-class team. Now, in what world do you get absolutely rolled by a team and go, I'm happy with that? Yeah.
It's because we got around there.
Just happy to have something on the board is the way I'm looking at it there for sure. Either way, let's see how round 1 plays out. It's going to be, by the looks of it, a full map clear coming out for BDS, starting things out over here towards the east side, inside of Exhibition and Office, clearing across through Drum, through Shrine, and then in towards Karaoke and T.
Yeah, the battleground is going to be around Shrine, Terrace and Drum to try and prevent this push. That's the sort of space that Wolves are going to have to hold on to. They've actually given up Office and Exhibition quite easily here. They've not positioned anybody out there. There's no roamers that have extended that far. It's all going to be about that area that I spoke about before. We can already see Leakerfact putting a little bit of pressure on through Dragon. He's cleared out some of the utility. BDS are moving really quickly here. There's a minute 10 in. They've got themselves established inside of the map. They're starting to open up the angles. They're forcing Wolves even deeper back into sight. Wolves, I'm not too sure that you can hold on for 3 minutes inside of sight. They do have a player underneath that could be a key component, and it is Mowgli.
He is. I mean, we saw this from G2 in the previous game earlier, right? When it was Doki the one kind of ratting off around the map on the Valkyrie sometimes, trying to cause a bit of bother, but always seemed to have his number painted on the wall. Always figured out by the other side, and just like that, Shaiko, he knows that he's there. He knows that he's down as well. Won't be able to finish him off here, as of course, Mowgli's not going to be able to pop his head back up again. But that's one risk here that Wolves will have to decide on. Do we go and try and get our Roma back up? Sure enough, Deadshot is there, wary that he might get swung on at a moment's notice. Look how scared they are, but no one's even there.
And this is one of the key, facets of BDS's game. People, I think, are becoming a little bit scared of them. They're getting into the server and they just think that they're everywhere. They know that frags can come from anywhere. Deadshot is going to level things up, taking Solotov down with a Nitro. That Mowgli revival could prove to be a huge factor in this round 4 versus 3, though, as Shaiko manages to take down Shinka. And this is the problem with BDS. Frags can come from anywhere. Leakerfact manages to find one before being shut down by Deadshot. He's all that they've got left. He's the last hope of Wolves in round 1. Uses it is to cut him down on the drum stairs. And that's BDS just cruising through round 1, to be honest.
Yeah, cruising's the word that I would give. And even off the back of taking out the majority of the drones, it's a trend across these last 2 maps, really. Wolves did do a really good job of denying the information game away, of trying to cause a little bit of bother out on their own with Mowgli. But BDS, just even for every step of it, even when they were out of information, still looked fully in control and knowing what was going on. That's going to be really hard, I think, for Wolves to play into. We're going to have to see some really strong early round aggression to pick off players early on. Think back to what we saw back in game 1, for example, when back in that first half of Bank, Wild were the one just constantly trying to pick members away from Secret. It's a similar sort of vibe, but the problem is, Tim, it's not that easy against BDS. You can say, yeah, go and find someone and pick up a player or 2 early on. Cool. Good luck, because I don't really fancy your chances, to be honest with you. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation.
Going to be moving on to a different site this time, Wolves, rather than going to Karaoke Tea again. BDS short. I mean, they didn't even need to step foot on site to win that. They didn't get anywhere near site, realistically, in terms of thinking about planting or anything. Just found those kills around the map and just forced Wolves to have to react to them, to have to move, to have to fill space that had been lost to other operators that had been downed by BDS. So this time it's going to be Office and Exhibition. We have got the extension out this time. It's going to be all the way as far as T. Shinka with the mirror in position there to just try and prevent any push from BDS. But for the time being, they're stacking up directly towards the site.
It's already starting to feel that pressure, that fear. The BDS just always sniffing around for sure. Dug in, things like the mirror and the castle on side really leaning towards that, but be too shocked to see 1 or 2 looking to get a bit busy as things progress from here. BDS at least starting things off though, right on the balcony, starting to sniff around this site, of course identifying exactly what it is they're coming up against. We're certainly seeing on this wall here, half the being left off. Yes, we'll make it to open, but normally makes it easy to impact trick onto any hard breaches that might come on through. Also gives the ability from this point on in the round for the defenders, if they dare, to be able to swing out from 2 different locations onto that balcony. We've seen teams employ SI, double swing outs for 2 players, one coming from the terrace door and one coming from the breach itself. But I think BDS took a little bit aware of that, have now moved their focus over towards this west side, and they want drum control.
Just going to take out the electrification there. We have the little mav hole drawn across, and that is going to mean that Bibu cannot play in that position to trick this wall out, but he is going to stick around in drum, try and keep that aggression up. They don't want to be forced back like they were last time. They were penned deep into the map. This time Mowgli does get the opener onto Shaiko. That's a big start here. The wall's electrified. They're not going to be getting that open, and realistically it's going to take some work from the Maverick, but I don't think they're going to want to get that aggressive here, BDS, because it would risk exposing them too much.
Got to deal with this mirror as well, of course, electrified up, so Likifak only partially really effective here in getting the job done. Shinka still playing it quite passively, mind you. 2 of them also sat here ready and waiting to challenge onto this. Right sort of idea, but not willing to stick around too long, it feels like here. Maybe backing themselves away. 60 seconds to go, and sure enough, it's been a good chunk of time that's been wasted by Wolves here. Good round so far.
Swapping mags.
Solotov just holding that tight angle in towards that. As you say, BDS are going to have to get moving here. They can't sort of hang around forever. Likifak is going to try pushing up to the breach here, but I think Wolves know they're not aware. I thought that they might be aware and looking for the peak themselves, but no. Damage is done to Deadshot, but Likifak cannot find the kill. 30 seconds left to go, and Wolves are holding on pretty well here in round 2.
They are, but if BDS are going to be able to achieve anything, Tim, it's going to be a smash and grab in the dying seconds of the round. They look almost ready to go. Leak it back into one more. Good for another. Out comes the smoke immediately as well to block off that line of sight from inside the site, but it also lets the cross come through. B4 deals with it well, but Breeday's in there for a trade. Breeday into a second. Bulletproof taken out, but it's now going to remove the Gumon before he can get this plant down. No mistakes allowed. Mowgli in a good spot, but can't quite find his man. Looks like BDS might be able to get away with this one if they can be quick about it, Tim, but not quite enough time. Shinka, Solotov forced to start getting the diffuser down. It's all onto Usus to hold up tight here as well. And Mowgli finds his second into a third. Wolves, they hold on, Tim, and with the help of the clock, get it over the line.
Yeah, it was hard fought from Wolves there, but that's the honest truth that's facing them. Any round that they get is going to have to be hard fought against this BDS team. But 1-1, it's not a bad start for Wolves here. They were able to burn out an awful lot of time there. BDS didn't really have the answers to that sort of middle of the map hold across from Shrine, T-Wall, Drum, Geisha Wall reinforced and electrified. BDS took an age to really try and unpick that, but it just didn't happen for them, and that gave Wolves a real opportunity to close out the round, and they did so. 1-1, and not bad from either side so far. It's been as good as we expected on Skyscraper, really.
Yeah, it's just to be caught in the middle of that round. They just got themselves a bit hung up on trying to get inside a drum, and fundamentally were forced to play against the clock, and it was still a nice play. It's like I said, with 30 seconds left, they're still that kind of team that can make something happen. And I love the smoke that got dropped on the doorway as well, in between Exhibition and in between the south side of things, because that way there wasn't that easy cross. It kind of put like a big block in the middle of the whole of that site around the actual focus point for the end of the round. It meant that rather than being able to get these crossfires through doorways and that, it was much more about having to push in and go more aggressive, get up a little bit more close and personal, but also isolate out more 1v1s and leave Wolves with less cross angles to be able to play behind. But they played to the clock. Mowgli with a big 3K to close things out. did not want to get involved in the chaos that BDS were trying to create on the site itself. One-on-one then, this time Tim is down in barbecue and kitchen. My God, am I hungry.
I'm starting to get to that point, Des. We're at 20-8 in the UK now, and it's definitely getting towards a point to get a bit of dinner on the go. You've no idea how much it hurt me to say that, Des, but I know if I said tea that you'd pick me up on it, so...
Would I? Dinner, tea? It is dinner, but I can forgive tea.
Incorrect. Here we go. The drones are in from BDS, and they're going to want to make quicker progress than they did last time around. They're also going to want to pick apart those puzzles that Wolves pose for them and make sure that they're unable to stay in those positions. Really disrupt them a little bit more here. Shaiko, perfect operator to go onto the balcony. Does have the Ash charges in hand, so will be able to deal with the Castle barricade at the top of Black as well.
Absolutely. He's starting here onto getting this pushed up open. One-man threat from Shaiko. Again, it's really weird that right now he is the lowest rated player on this team, and that sounds absolutely bonkers to say. Because every single player is above 100. Mowgli, though, really starting to show. He's got a little bee in his bonnet today, Tim. Wants to prove a point. 3K in the last round. Entry in this one as well. We'll now have to force BDS to switch things up a little bit, deal with him first and foremost.
Yeah, if Wolves are going to get anything out of this game, they really need the big players to be stepping up. That's been Deadshot and Mowgli so far on the season, and they are starting to deliver. 6 kills between the two of them, and it's not a bad start at all. Breeder just looking to move in and try and get a little bit of ground for BDS here, but obviously they need to adjust. The League of Fak has been lost. You know, where was he supposed to push? What ground was he supposed to take? And does anybody need to take over from that? BBoo still holding on to Geisha. He's going to have utility being thrown in at him from karaoke window. Shaiko goes in and gets a double. Huge kills from him. Make that 3, and Shaiko has just ripped them apart.
And just when you feel, you know, he's not having the best stage because his team are dragging him through some of these rounds. Not that he's even playing bad, he's been playing really well. He reminds you, still the European GOAT. 3K in the round, the spin flick onto top Black as well. He really has just torn Wolves apart. And now P4 has got it all to do against 3 players. Definitely doable, especially when Shaiko's only got a single point of HP to his name. But 1 bullet is all he needs, Tim. He makes it a 4K.
Yep, exactly. Really announces himself into this one with a huge moment for BDS. I said coming in that Wolves would need their big players firing, and that's exactly why, because it's not just Shaiko that can do that next round. It'll be Solotov, it'll be Users, it'll be League of Fak, it can be anybody, and that's why Breed is backing him up with some of the most clutch players that we've seen over the years. So tough round there. I think Wolves just, you know, they had a good round 2, and they've just seen firsthand exactly what this team can do in the blink of an eye and the sort of scale of the task that is ahead of them.
Pretty big one at that. Even with the technical pause coming in, it's a moment to be pensive for Wolves. As you say, realise that task that still stands before them. I'm sure we'll get things back underway in just a couple of moments. As we said before, there is a question I need to ask you based on earlier, Tim. And I think I've asked you before, but I'll ask you it again. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not.
I am quite the fan.
Not a chance. I knew that you would be.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just a disruptive choice, and I just it's chaotic.
Yes,
it's
me,
you
the
through and
anarchist
through,
against
Des.
pizza.
If you were a pizza, you'd be a pineapple pizza. Absolutely,
Really?
you'd be Hawaiian, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, mate, that is one of the go-tos. Not
I
gonna lie.
thought it might be, you see.
I don't follow rules when it comes to pizza toppings. I'll slap like chicken on there, ham,
Chicken's fine, yeah.
mushroom, pineapple. I'll mix all 4 together.
Another one that I do make occasionally is I like to I'll do like a your normal sort of toppings, bit of chicken on there, cheese, maybe like you say a little bit of ham, something like that, and then I'll get some fajita spices and just sprinkle it over the top of the whole thing, and just let that bake for a couple of minutes, and yeah, particularly good. A little fajita, yeah, very good.
Shut up, man. Terrible. Well, in case you didn't notice, that did go from being a technical timeout into a tactical timeout. Conversation pretty early on from Wolves, I imagine, there to say, guys, we are getting roll-load. What the hell is going on and how do we fix it? And that second round was good because, as you saw, in a way, I don't want to take away from Wolves because they played the round the way they were meant to. They played it out to near enough perfection. But BDS, the ones who themselves really got caught. So that was a horrible shot. For like 90 seconds to 100 seconds or so, they got themselves caught inside a Geisha, not really sure what to do. And then were forced to try and push in towards top shrine, got held up by 2 players up there, and the clock really worked against them. So you could even look at that and say it was kind of by BDS's own mistake and their own demise that they lost that round. Which is why Wolves are probably feeling that heat and want that early timeout in there to get things back and on the side and going.
Right then, Wolves. On the defensive course of Skyscraper, for me, I think they need a minimum of 3 rounds here, if not 4, you know, to be giving themselves a chance. I think BDS on the second half are going to be pretty confident on both of the top floor sides. So Wolves really need to be finding themselves at least another couple here. And BDS, I think, are going to be very happy with the way that things have gone so far. Round 1 and round 3, both sort of... I won't go as far as saying emphatically in their favour, but certainly getting close to emphatically in their favour.
Yeah, I'd say it has been overall so far. I mean, Choco's at 6-1. Like, everything feels like it's pretty in order. I love the lineup they've got here as well. You know, the Blitz, Neos, Capital, the Smokes on side to assist Solotov on that glass. And then Shaiko goes off being said, yeah, you can do what you want, Ash, mate. You go have some fun with that ACOG and we'll catch you in a few rounds' time.
We have the Deimos scan coming along. That's going to feed out information on Bibu, but also, of course, giving away Leakafac's position. So he just needs to be careful how aggressive he is with his pushes, because Wolves will be feeding that information in. However, the Blitz is going to be dealt with. That is a big kill, but Solotov picking up a double on the glass is going to nullify any advantage that Wolves might have gained. 4 versus 3, and BDS an opportunity to start pushing in towards the top of Black Stairs here. Leakafac just lurking down at the bottom as well. They've got a lot of the control that they need, and this constant scanning that's going on Bibu is just forcing him to stay back inside a shrine, because as soon as he moves forward, the call will go from Leakafac that he's pushing you. You need to get in there and swing him.
I mean, look at it. Leakafac's playing down below as well. Doesn't need to get himself involved with the rest of his team pushing forward. Otherwise, he's only helping the defenders know what's going on. And sure enough, they're kind of hunting him here. The calls, of course, work both ways. Defend the attacker not pinged as often, but still pinged by the defender, so you know exactly what is going on. Choco looking to make some quick moves we've seen so many times. In he goes, gun up as well. I mean, personally, Solotov would not be standing in the way when he picks up a target.
No access has been gained to the plant spot, though. Shaiko has diffuser in hand. He's going to move in and look to potentially get it down. I think he's just waiting for the call for the cover to be in place. Solotov confident that he's got that locked down with the glass scope. There's somebody over by the karaoke window as well. They're just concerned about Bibu underneath, and this is why it's Bibu that's been getting scanned out constantly by Deimos. It's the Soulless. They need to know where, and they need to know if they can have an impact on that plant, and they can. Shaiko having to come off the diffuser.
I was going to say, surely you get across the other side here and get up on the table. That's exactly what he's done. Solotov has got one pinned inside a Geisha at this point. Shaiko as well is taking a lot of fire. Might be about to get away with it, but Shinka, he holds on. BDS, they look unable to complete because of Bibu on the downstairs, and the C4 from Deadshot comes out too. They look to be in such a good position, but this off-site denial from Wolves has been sublime.
That's the second time that Deadshot's been able to pick up Nitro kills, and I love to see that he's using everything that he's got in his locker. And if you want to be a tier 1 player, you've got to have that ability. If you're going to be playing on operators that have got a Nitro, you better be good with Nitros, nades, flashes, whatever it is. You've got to be able to get every drop of advantage out of that utility, and Deadshot showing an ability to do that. Nice double to mop up the round. That's 2-2 from Wolves, and we've got a real battle going on between these two, really butting heads on Skyscraper. This time, Wolves were able to win Karaoke T. It didn't happen for them last time in round 1. Maybe their fortunes will switch a little bit, and they can be looking towards that 4-2 half that they'd be hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, to have two... It sounds crazy to say, yeah, be happy with this. Two on the board, be all even with BDS. Very few teams get to claim that they've been even with BDS, to be fair, Tim. Yeah, can't take it away from them, though. Great round being played out. I did say in the second round, I thought maybe that was more down to BDS being caught up themselves, trying to push in through Geisha. But that last round, that was all Wolves and their play. So clearly, that timeout has done a bit of work for them. BDS, though, aren't giving up on that attack, Tim. They're going to get in with the glass here by the looks. We've got the Sens on side as well. And the IQ from Shaiko coming out, dropping away from the Ash, I'd imagine, is to go hunting after that Soulless, which, of course, in this round, isn't even on side.
Wolves 2 rounds away from at least making it a better go against BDS than anybody else has done previously, but they are only going to have one thing in their mind, and that is walking away with the full 3, and I'm sure that they will firmly believe that they can. So we're going to have BDS stacking up on the opposite side of the map again. Very direct approach towards site. We saw this from them last time, and then they had that late rotate where they said, no, we need to actually try and clear Shrine out, try and clear Geisha, and it didn't really work for them. This time, they've got the sense on board. Usus is going to be bringing that operator along. That's just going to maybe give them an opportunity to push into site. The light screens are up, and that means that Solotov, for at least a little while, can work through that partition with the thermal scope unhindered.
You have just seen the impacts come through, though, to deny it away, so that is no longer in place. They can swing onto him here, but the smoke is going to be their next layer of cover. BDS really swearing on trying to make these kind of attacks work, but simply getting nothing from it. It feels like it's a good hole coming out from Wolves once again, dancing around display while pressure comes in from elsewhere. So far, Wolves do hold them back.
Wolves have just done a fantastic job of dealing with the Sense and Glass combo. Deadshot's just given too much away there, though. Getting aggressive onto the breach and gets cut down by Shaiko. That's levels us out at 4 versus 4. But I'm looking at what utility's left and thinking, how do they get this plant down? And they are in a position to do so with 2 kills coming in. That's what's given them the space. Greedy can now think about getting inside. He's not going to need to at this rate, though, as Shaiko's just going for one after another, and Wolves might just feel hard done to with how that round has gone. It was a great start to take down the Glass, prevent that Sense Glass combo from working, but BDS just show that they've got plan B, they've got plan C, and they can go in and execute in a number of ways.
Is the name of plan B and C both just titled Shaiko?
Yes.
Because again, he's just walked in and slayed everyone. You know, walking up to a breach and taking a 1v1 through a soft wall and getting the kill. Yeah. What do you say about that? I think clearly, Tim, he knows that he's currently lowest rated for his team and is saying, well, I took that personally. I'm God, back on top of #1, baby. And that's the way that he's working to. And again, it's not even all down to him. It is a team effort. The pressure being shown by all of BDS is what lets him shine, but you can't ignore that the man is absolutely popping off.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, you're feeling... I think, you know, I looked at it last night and Shaiko had a couple of moments that were just phenomenal last night against RTB. And it really is one of those moments, you know, we've heard it about Liquid and Nesk and Palu on LAN before. And, you know, I think you've got to say the same for Shaiko in EUL. Until you've been run over by Shaiko, have you really played in EUL? It's sort of one of them rites of passage. And unfortunately for Wolves, it's the rite of passage that they have been through before. They know exactly what he can do, and he really is doing it today. 9-2, absolutely running away with this one for BDS at the minute. But aside from Shaiko, Wolves have actually done a really good job of limiting a number of the other BDS players, limiting their success. Users quiet, Solotov quiet, and in that they've been able to get themselves a couple of rounds. They really need, I think, to get this one though. Round 6, final defense, level things up at 3-3.
Another bit of fun for him as well with the Amaro on side here. So we're going to see something else a little bit saucy coming out, I'd imagine, from the side of BDS. Always questions on sites like this. It's like, okay, what's really the use case that you've got in mind here? And it's just all about that speed. Leaky Fat with the Ram on side here, looking to get this one opened up nice and quick. Slot 4's opened up. And inside they go straight down, but the vertical's being used against them. Wolves holding their ground firm here and shutting down 3 players of BDS on their explosive entry. I do feel like BDS have made it a bit hard for themselves, to be honest with you, Tim. Like, they've got the capability to play slow and coordinated, and these fast rushes, well, they've been dealt with pretty damn well. 4 still left for Wolves, and it feels like this half will end at 3-3.
Yeah, I'm not sure really how necessary that was from BDS. Like you say, their attacks have been so good tonight. The particular, you know, the 3 that they've won have been fantastic. They've recognized where players are. They've sectioned them off. They've got kills. They've been aggressive when they've needed to. You know, they've won gunfights. And I just don't know how necessary it was to kind of throw everybody in through the breach there. You know, just play the game you've been playing already. It's been working fantastically well. I don't see a need to mix it up really too much. But they went for it. They lost out. They didn't have control of the hatch. I don't know how else they think that ends, to be honest, without having hatch control. They obviously haven't droned it. You can't go in through kitchen window like that. And they've just found out why.
Yeah, I mean, BDS are really looking to catch you off guard there. And those aren't the kind of things that you'll go back and see in VODs, for example, right? Like, Geisha being opened up, window being smashed open. They're hoping that whoever's playing on the hatch inside of Geisha just panics as a result of the wall being opened and realizes, I can't really play here. Except they could. And then they dealt with the ram downstairs, and that started opening things up a little bit more and making life tough for the side of BDS. So again, full credit to Wolves, held their ground, reverse pressure straight back onto BDS, and weren't letting them get away with any of their shenanigans. But I think back to many moons ago, Tim, when this is back when M&M first became a team in Siege, actually. Their team at the time would start an attack pretty much all the time on maps like Clubhouse, back when it was notoriously defender-sided. And I remember being like, well, why is that? Why do you always choose to start on the attack? And they said, we're so confident that we can get 3 or 4 attacking rounds that we're happy for that. And then we switch sides, and suddenly the other team are nervous that they've got to attack into us when we've got 3 or 4 rounds going into our defensive side. And given BDS have again started on attack every single map so far in EU, I get the idea it feels the same. They are so confident in their ability to attack that they're like, well, why not put the other team in a bit of unease going into the second half? They've only played 9 defensive rounds. They've won 8 of them. Wolves have got a big challenge in front of them.
Yeah, they do, 100%. And, you know, this is what I said, 3-3 at the half was the absolute minimum for Wolves. And I really think they could have done with 4. You know, I think they might find BDS coming out with the, you know, primary and a secondary site on the top floor here, get them both one. And all of a sudden it's 5 versus 3. But what a shot from Shinka. Finds his man. And there's the one tap onto Shaiko. But as BDS do so well, there is a response immediately. And they are back in the driving seat.
Just when you feel you've really got something on BDS, yeah, we got rid of Shaiko. The guy is absolutely popping off this game. 2 more kills fly back. It's heart-wrenching because you start off so strong and then it falls away. They've still got the Monty on side. However, that does mean 2 guns are realistically all they've got to play with. Deadshot and Shinka. Now, 2 players are having a pretty good game in their own right, absolutely. But I think this is where you're going to see some of the players on the side of BDS, their sleeper agents, wake up in the rest of this round.
Yeah, I mean, the point that you made there, Des, you know, about you get Shaiko and then somebody else, you know, leaker pack pops up, users pop, you know, it must be mentally very draining, you know, to go through that process and to think, right, we've got the big name down, we can start pushing forward, we've got a bit of ground. Oh no, we're now 3 versus 4 and we've lost it. And there's just always somebody that's going to cause you a problem. And as I say, it must get very draining over the course of a game. So Shinka is going to be on karaoke window. I think Wolves are they're a little bit sort of separate and disparate in terms of what are they trying to do here for the push. They need top black if they're trying to work from karaoke window, and that's why the Monty push is coming through. But to be honest, they've no answer to Brede here in this position. He's got a shield to his backside. He's got smokes to keep them off the stairs. There's only 30 seconds left to go. This is going to be extremely difficult for Wolves. They haven't taken the ground that they need to. They don't have anything in place to be able to get this diffuser down.
You know what's going on as well. They've moved up here as well. Deadshot could have took the shot, and sure enough, the shield moves. The shot is straight on through. 3 versus 3. Got to make their move happen here. Brede's knocked down to the ground, but of course you can't get the finish off. It's not quite like it used to be, my friend. Oh, it's another round closing over there for BDS.
Yeah, as I said, Wolves too slow there, realistically. I think the 2 kills that came in response to their entry really broke the back of their attack there. They were 3 versus 4. They couldn't get moving up black stairs. They didn't have any pressure coming in from black balcony, for example. That's, you know, you need multiple avenues of attack because it just meant that the smoke was able to just play there until the canisters were gone. Too much time was wasted. There just wasn't enough work done by Wolves, and I think it was on the back of them 2 kills, really. They knew that they were short of manpower because you need somebody with the Monty. So that's 2 out of your 3 players. You put 1 on karaoke window, that's it. You've got no option to go anywhere else.
Can't believe he gets just nice and like that. But again, it's one of those points now where the Monty doesn't kill. It's the knockdown instead. You can get yourself back up. You can react. Brede's just shown that absolutely brilliantly. Not really as aggressive maybe as he used to be as an operator. BDS then with that first round on the board. As you say, Tim, really was about the time waste around black stairs. So Wolves will adapt and come back. Exhibition and Office we're going into for round 8.
You just feel like there's a lot of teams around the world looking at this matchup thinking, please, will somebody just beat BDS at this point? You know, make them feel a little bit more human, make them feel like they are at least beatable, because right now it's looking, it could be a real possibility that they just go through EUL without dropping a match at this point, because We just have all of the answers right now. Deadshot is going to be bringing along the Deimos this time. We'll see whether that can help them lock anybody in position, whether they can get that intel and put it to good use, get themselves a nice kill on the back of it. And they just need to keep the advantage. Wolves are doing a good job of finding kills, but like I said, BDS always have an answer. They always have a trade, and usually they'll come back with 2 for your 1, and that's the problem. You're always on the back foot, and it is draining. Are we going to see the little mirror trick here?
I mean, he's got to decide soon, right? I mean, he's going to get away with it as well as he realised. No, he's going to get away with it too. Very smart.
For anybody who didn't know
what's going on and get the exothermic off, but nope, it's gone.
For anybody who didn't know, mirror tricking is a thing. Give it a whirl in your rank game. You might get lucky with it.
No, please don't. Because you know exactly what's going to happen. Someone's going to mistime it. The breach will open and my mirror's just going to die. With both of her mirror windows still in back pocket. So please don't encourage that again.
There's the risk. You've got to use the audio well. Obviously, you've got to recognize the sound of the thermite charge being placed. You can't really do it any later than that.
No.
But yeah, if you do get away with it, then it's job done, much like a bandit, and it will clear the charge off. So, again, great start from BDS. They've opened the mirror window as well, I believe, just to give... I could be wrong in that. There's nothing on side for the attackers that would suggest, unless they've gone underneath it. It's likely Mowgli possibly on the book underneath it. Should cleared it out and opened it up. You don't really want that line of sight into VIP. So still, Wolves, you're not able to find something, sort of find a positive out of the negative, but struggling again, it feels, to make progress directly in towards start here. BDS pretty comfortable at sitting still.
Yeah, Mowgli doing a lot of work below, though, making things a bit uncomfortable for BDS, taking out the Fenrir F-Nats, as you saw, for example. Maybe being challenged on the reverse, though, just about keeps himself alive here. So he's done a good bit of work, but now the team have got to make their move, and Solotov, flashes might come on through, but he still feels ready and waiting. How many flashes can you throw at a Warden? All of them, Tim! And he's still going to turn around and delete pretty much everyone. 2 quick kills onto house stairs, 1 left standing, and it's Shinka. BDS hold on, and Solotov stood there like, can't touch this.
Masterclass defense of Office and Exhibition coming in there, just dealt with it fantastically well. Like you said, Mowgli underneath, opening up so much of the floor. And what did he get for it? Half of his life taken off, and then finished off when he tried to push onto the stairs. It's just so much work coming to nothing for Wolves in that round. You know, it really is a shame for them. But great play from BDS. Take nothing away from them. The mirror trick, you know, we barely ever see that. It shows the confidence that's coming out of this team. It just worked brilliantly. Breeding, absolute master there. It was so close as well. You see the thermite guard,
he was like,
just about
I'll tell
to
you
be...
what. It could be down to like 0.01 seconds. It'd be like, not close, not close.
Not close. Still gets it done. Great stuff.
Yeah.
And Solotov as well. Beautiful use of the Warden. He'd stored up, you know, the use of his glasses until the push was going to come. Just shows great game sense, great understanding of when that utility dump was going to come in. Flicks the glasses on, gets himself, I think it was a double in the heat of it all. And just, again, really good play from BDS. 2 back-to-back defenses now. And this was my concern, if you remember. I said 4-2 needed for Wolves because BDS will hold down the top floors. Wouldn't surprise me to see them lock out the tertiary site of Kitchen Barbecue as well now.
And this is what I mentioned earlier on, right, is BDS feel very happy attacking first and saying, yeah, we'll build up a good lead and then go on the defense where we know we will absolutely rock it. That reminder again, they've won 8 of 9 defensive rounds coming into this game, now moving themselves up to 10 of 11. And I'm with you, Tim. Who's going to turn around and say at some point, please, someone just beat them? Like, please. Because at least as it stands now, it's only early days. A lot can go wrong across the stage, of course. This is only our 4th day in. People are already saying they're that team to win the major. They're already that team in this fight. Well, that is very preemptive, but you can see why.
Imagine this team coming into the major unbeaten, you know, not having dropped a single map and coming in there with that sort of confidence and aggression. They're going to be an absolute nightmare for anybody to play. And the thing is, I can't see any of it changing when they get onto LAN. You know, as we say, the game is quicker, it's smoother. And I think these are all players that are just going to benefit from that Leaker fight. Look, he's just out there waiting for them. It's not a problem at all. Guns down Mowgli, goes for a second, but Bibu is going to cut him down on the upside down rappel. Wolves need to build on this now. 145. They've got the Solace off the board. Shaiko's taken some damage on the Legion, but do they know about Solotov hiding inside of this wall?
Not quite. Now they do. And they're going to have to get rid of the swing, and it comes in, and they're just ready and waited. Tim Deadshot finds his man. I also want to give a bit of a nod towards Bibu there. Played that vertical repel extremely well. 2 players hanging onto him at the same time. You're basically guaranteed to be a dead man in that situation, but he gets one and keeps his life and escaping from the second too. So really good play around the aggression coming out of BDS, even if their team play forcing the 2v1 in the first place was equally brilliant.
Deadshot having a good day today, and I think it's fair to, give him that shout out for a great stage, really. He's followed on from the work that he did at SI, and he's coming out pretty big here. Slight change in role, I think, along the way, but it's worked wonders for him, whatever that change has been. He's definitely on top of things. 7 kills inside of this one, and just helping to keep Wolves in the fight, really. But it just goes to show, there's, like I said earlier, every single inch of ground against BDS at the minute is hard fought. Every round that you get, it must feel like you're in the absolute fight of your life trying to get it over the line.
It does. Everything is 4-4, tooth and nail. And even then, it doesn't always feel like you're going to find the success that you would like. People got his way inside of Laundry here as well, starting their march on through with the assistance of Bibu, looking to play as a 2. You've seen many times over, no one there to challenge them. You've got to find that F-nap first, clear it out the way. Use this on the right sort of idea as well. They've got this little angle up onto stairs. Time is of the essence here. Their Wolves have got to make their move, and BDS are dug in tight, Tim.
Yep, Shaco's going to be the party spoiler potentially as he comes around and gets his man. And again, they didn't have the time, Des. They'd done a lot of the work. They got themselves into a position, but ultimately they just had to roll the dice because the time was ticking away. We've just got to try and throw the diffuser down. They thought they had sufficient cover, but without drone coverage inside of the site, without that intel there to say Shaco's sat on the window, he's just hiding behind the shelves, it was easy for him then to pop out. There's only 1 kill that he needs to get. I mean, I thought he maybe grabbed himself a couple more, to be honest. I thought there was going to be a bit of a flood into sight, but there wasn't in the end. But yeah, again, BDS just playing with the clock so well, just making it so difficult to get every inch. And by the time you know it, there's 10 seconds left, and you still haven't got sight control, really.
Well. BDS's defensive record continues 3 in a row. Wolves, attack time after round 3 now leaves you really stuck. If you haven't used it on the defensive side, there is very little chance you'll be able to adapt too much when you get onto the attacking side of things, and that is exactly what we are seeing, even with a couple of their players. Looking at Deadshot, Mogi, and Shinka, really all doing okay in the game, getting themselves some frags and rounds. We've seen it across the 2 of them, a couple of multi-kills along the way. But on the other side, again, the unkillable Demon King, Shaiko himself, sits at 10 and 4. 2 huge rounds back in the first half. You can't ignore also the input that we've seen from Leakyfak, from Yuzus, to really propel this team ahead.
I think, part of the problem is obviously we do see rounds won, particularly when a team's on the attack. We do see rounds won sometimes whereby you don't kill every member of the opposition team. You can go in, you can play on the plan as a defense, you can disable that diffuser, and we do see rounds like that. But it honestly feels against BDS like at the minute you don't have a choice in every single round other than to kill all 5 of them, because even in a 2 versus 4, when you've got an opportunity to put the diffuser down, they still turn the round over. They still get it. It feels like you just have to get them kills. You cannot play for time. You cannot play to get the diffuser down and wait for the clock to run down. You've just got to go and kill them all, because otherwise somebody will find a way. Leakyfak finds a way to take P4 down. It's as easy as that. He stood on the window. He picks up the kill, and Wolves, despite their best efforts, they have really thrown everything into this one, and I don't want to be negative about their performance because they've got as many rounds against BDS as anybody has in a UL so far. It's just showing the qualities of BDS. Nobody who loses to this team at the minute should take it critically, should take it as a negative, because it's just how good BDS are.
The problem is you still got Leakyfak running around like an absolute lunatic, doing whatever the hell he wants, right? Like, they've lost P4, they've had drones at his feet, they've lost the majority of them, but he's still able to run free of the net. Maybe this time around might at least get something. It's BDS taken out quite early on Black Stairs. They are not going to get caught out there again, Tim, but a C4 comes out immediately in response. Deadshot, the Capitao off the board.
And it's all heading in one direction at the minute, 4 versus 2, as Solotov manages to pick up a second on the round. Bibu does get himself to the top of Black Stairs on the Monty, but he's pretty much all alone now. There is only Shinka to work with him on the ace. Has to try and get something going here, Bibu, but there's so little for him. He's pinging out, he's giving the information, but where is Shinka? Bottom Black Stairs. This is 30 seconds that Bibu's been alone for. Can't drop his shield because he knows what will happen if he does. Shinka tries to get something going, knows there's a man just inside a T-door. He's battling, he's fighting. As I said, for every single inch that they try to gain, it is an absolute slog to go through. Manages to find his man, but with 25 seconds left, Solotov's job is done.
That wall opened up, and the problem is, Tim, there's really not enough time to play with here. Salmon now at 4 seconds to open up a wall. You got to wait for that for the monster to be able to step through, and as soon as that shield gets collapsed, guess who's there? It's Shaiko. Sees the feet of Shinka down to about 5 HP, and Shaiko smells that blood in the water, finds one. Bibu gets another, but he's got it all to do, Tim. He might down one, but he's not going to get the close. BDS continue their unstoppable march to that top of the table.
More success for the BDS super team, as it's being called, as they once again do not allow more than 3 rounds to be taken against them and keep themselves 100% on defense. They're only losing 1 defensive round, I believe, in EUL so far. BDS are terrifying, they're scary. Insert a superlative, Des, and that describes BDS.
At this point, what do you do? Well, it even feels when you've got a game plan coming in, it's really down to BDS losing the round, like I touched on in round 2. That was down to their slip-up or anything else. So maybe you give Wolves a couple of rounds in that, but it was still that absolute domination. It's the fight to get rounds, let alone games from them at this point. I don't see how that's going to change, but maybe the Devs have got some ideas. Let's go to them for a breakdown of this game.
BDS just absolutely BDS all over Wolves. We talk about our new word that we have invented on this desk, but it is what we're seeing continuously from BDS.
First of all, like, you get BDS, not BDS all over. Can you explain to me what getting BDS all over actually means?
I mean, they just like continuously storm. If we bring back up the graphic or the explanation of what BDSing means, is to destroy an obstacle in your path with the utmost ease. I mean, that's exactly what BDS are doing. All over Wolves is what we're seeing here in every different front.
Yeah, they BDS all over them. That's the way.
All over them, all over Skyscraper,
yeah.
Wherever you want to go, BDS will take you there. And they'll BDS you there as well.
It's like, I'm trying to figure out the weaknesses of this team. And I said that the last time as well, but I don't see them yet. I don't know what it is that you need to do. How do you beat them?
Yeah, we're speechless, basically.
Honestly.
I think the only thing is, and maybe force them to execute. We saw a couple of attacks. Oh my god, we're actually criticizing a team that's just got free attacks on Skyscraper. If we're trying to find a weakness, was that they only went free attacks on Skyscraper.
They should have won
They maybe
more.
messed up a couple of late exits.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is the best team in Europe. This is probably the best team in the world. They'll win a major. Maybe
win an
SI.
SI.
What's the point? No. Honestly, this team is so good. They're disgustingly good. I don't know what else we can say.
It's come to the point where, okay, we're 4 play days in, and we can only sit here and just say, yeah, they're the best team. If they attended that side, they probably would have won it. Who knows?
This is one of the things where it's like, we expected this team to be good. Everybody expected this team to be good. Did we expect them to be this good? No. What we expected was that individual skill would have to carry them, at least in this stage. Because we thought map pool might be a little bit of an issue. We thought IGLing and communication might be a little bit of an issue. We thought synergy might be a little bit of an issue. They've come out and proved over these 4 games. They don't have any of those issues whatsoever.
Nope.
And on top of that, they're individually 5 of the best players in the world.
Well, that's it. That's the sum up.
I'm very curious what's going to start happening as soon as we see some issues arise to the surface, or if things go worse. But at this point, I'm also questioning, will we even get to that point? I mean, right here now as well, starting attack on Skyscraper, I mean, there's more favorable things to do for sure, but they handle it perfectly, banning out a Ying and then still finding ways to execute around it.
Yeah, so before in the pre-show, we talked about Ying being very strong to enter with. BDS has to ban it, and then they start attack on one of the hardest to attack maps in the game. And as we said, they should have won even more attacks than they did. They just had an answer for everything. Like, we saw the round where they go blitz on Black Stars, and they have to cover him. And we saw all these other things. We saw Sense on the office attack. We're seeing things we don't normally see. And I just lost for words. Like, I feel like I know this game well, but they just have answers to everything. They have the depth, they have the maps, they have the gun skill. I don't know.
They have a
what to
nice
say.
skin as well.
They have a
Look at
nice
it, that
new
skin
skin.
is nice.
Yeah.
Their new skin. Go check it out.
I just don't have word for them. They're just that good. They're that good.
Wow, I don't think I'd ever imagined a day where two analysts would be stood on the desk, absolutely speechless,
Yeah.
not knowing what to say because the team has just been performing so incredibly well. Like, there isn't almost a mistake to point out.
No, that's the thing is I think a lot of our job on the desk is to look at these teams and highlight where they could be improving, highlight the issues or where teams might perceive weaknesses and what teams might try and do against this team. And I think everybody, teams included, are just stuck right now on how you would beat BDS.
I mean, how do you prep against them? Okay, let's try this strat. All right, well, we get the N3 kill, and then Shaiko kills 4 of us. Well, that's unlucky. He's also their worst-rated player before this game. But okay, whatever.
That's the ridiculous element, right? You kill Shaiko and you think, right, you know, up BDS,
Cool.
you kill Shaiko, you think kind of job done. Maybe Leak Fact is now issue. Leak Fact's now our issue. Oh, we kill Leak Fact. Cool. Use us. Oh, cool. We kill him. Oh, and now it's Solotop. In the end of that, then BDS 1v5.
Yeah, he just 1v5s you, easy peasy.
And add on to that, you used to always be able to take map pool advantage against BDS because of the way their map pool is. They now play all 9 maps on top of that. So, speechless.
But before we start sounding like absolute BDS shills on the
Yeah.
desk here, the one player that we mentioned being the worst rated player on his team, still positive, but the worst rated player on his team was Shaiko.
Yeah, so Shaiko, obviously previously, we can't say worst rated, 5th best rated player on BDS before today. Huge performance today. Now, there was a few concerns about Shaiko in terms of the way his English is. Obviously, we've never really seen him do interviews. He's quite a quiet person as it is. But the reason that Shaiko performs so well on this team is because he needs to know one word in English, which is dead, and then every word in of the operators. Mute dead, Warden dead, Mozzie dead, whoever else dead. He is that good of a player. Slotted into this team very well, having to play more of a team game, but he's a sensational player. We all know it.
We saw a great game from him this time around, but a very, well, stable factor on this team is Users. We have him on the line as well to answer a few questions for us. Good evening, Users. You must be absolutely loving life right now. 4 games won, 4 games played. It's going wonderful. How does that feel?
Feels good. Feels good to just win every game, taking every game as it comes. We're not getting complacent, I hope. That's it.
Users, you've been in one team for a very, 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 very long time before this. How come do you want to be? I mean, I'm not gonna ask how come you went to BDS. That's the dumbest question I could ask. But you finally have left that team, and you're in a new environment. How's it feel? How's everything around it? Like, what's the difference between the two teams?
I mean, I don't want to say everything's better, 'cause that just sounds like I'm terrorizing my old team. But we have a better map pool. The prep feels better. Everyone feels a bit more involved and stuff like that. So it's just easier to play the game, to be honest.
Well, that is for sure, and I mean, we can kind of clearly see that. The map pool you guys have, to us on the desk, we think that you play every single map, and you probably play it best in Europe, all 9 maps. Do you have any little sneak peeks for us? Are we going to see more maps? You've already played 4 different. Do you play all 9?
No comment. Lucky Fact's behind me. If he saw me releasing some sort of information like that, he might give me a head look. He's a big guy.
I tried.
Yeah, we're really hoping to get some more out of that there. But is there anything you want to say to the fans or maybe to your organization as well? I mean, specifically the fans, maybe buy the new BDS skin?
Yeah, buy the new skin. BDS, keep up the boot camps. Fun. That's it.
Awesome. Sounds very good. I mean,
And
you
keep
must
up
be
the
having...
support, the fans. Sorry, I forgot the fans. Keep up the support. We see all the replies, all the tweets, all the retweets.
That's really nice to hear. And of course, been on bootcamp for a little while now. It's looking all very good. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions. I'm sure you'll have a great rest of the evening, and I'm pretty sure we'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, good night. Bye-bye.
Some short but sweet answers we got there from users, not really wanting to give away too much about their map pool.
It's short and sweet. I mean, I knew he never would, but you never know. Maybe they slip up every now and then. But then again, we already know they have a 9 map pool. They don't need to tell us.
It is very much looking like that. We have one more game ready ahead of us, though, to conclude our 4th playday of Europe League. We'll take a quick break, and then we're back with ENCE versus Fnatic.